Harper Audio presents Dear Amy by Helen Callaghan, performed by Michelle Ford. Prologue. Katie Brown is packing. She gropes under her bed, seizing her blue backpack with the faux leather trim, and begins stuffing clothes and toiletries into it with frantic energy, her eyes blinded by tears. There is very little sense or order in this packing, but that's all right, because it is the act of packing and not the objects themselves, the grey and green leggings, the Union Jack makeup bag puffed up to bursting with all her lip colours, the maroon jersey top with gold stitching that makes her feel so mature and sophisticated, that makes the difference. Katie is leaving for good this time. She is never coming back. She has had enough. She flounces down on the bed, pulling on the pair of shiny red-brown ankle boots that her dad bought her a month ago. On the window of her little room, the rain taps with increasing insistence, as though urging her to think again. Nearly tripping over her discarded gym bag with her still damp swimming kit nestling inside, Katie swings the blue backpack over her shoulder, all the while aware of the hateful murmur of the television downstairs in the living room and its chorus of canned laughter. They've turned the volume up, but she is sure she can hear hidden whispering, her mum talking about her to that useless lump Brian, as though he has any right to an opinion, as though he was her dad. She is not staying here, that's for definite. She's not going to be treated like this in her own house, which has now become Brian's house. Brian, the big lazy sod, sitting there on the couch with his tattooed guns and loose jeans, like a low-rent Essex Buddha, one arm casually slung around her mother, always hogging the remote for the TV. Brian, who thinks he can have an opinion on what she wears, where she goes, how late she stays out. And her mum just sits there, letting him have his way. You work so hard, love. Can you not be a little more respectful? Brian can fuck right off. She'll go to her dad, her real dad. Katie stomps down the stairs while popping her headphones in her ears, but not fast enough to tune out her mother's sharp, "Where do you think you're going?" from behind the closed door of the living room, just before she slams out of the house and walks with brisk purpose down the street. It's horrible outside. October now, and Cambridge's slow, hazy summer has given way to jet-black nights and sheets of stinging rain, blown at her by a cold wind that whips through her hair and bites the tips of her fingers. Katie pulls up her hood and taps through her phone, and Taylor Swift starts singing into her ears, a tiny, bright noise. She strides, nearly running, up the road with its leafy canopy of dark trees, and turns the corner onto Elizabeth Way and its constant roaring traffic. In her pocket, Taylor Swift is displaced by a comedy ringtone, a man declaring, "Danger, danger, it's your mother calling." With a deft gesture, Katie swipes decline and speeds up. The road is rising as it bridges the dark waters of the winding Cam below. Katie shivers, imagining swimming in it, with its fish and tangling weeds and muddy depths littered with broken bottles and rusted bicycles. She torments herself with the image of her white foot caught in sharp spokes, thin wisps of blood drifting out of her wounds up to the surface, where she cannot follow them. With a snap, she shakes her head, dropping the horrid daydream, returning to the real world of her own clicking heels on the drenched pavement, and the approaching and retreating lights of the cars on her right as they roar past her with a hiss of crested water. She gets such morbid, mortifying thoughts sometimes, and she doesn't understand where they come from. Things were never like this when I was a kid, she thinks. She didn't mind when Brian told her to do things. She never fought with her mum the way she does now. Back then, she was just Katie, who liked to swim and liked to race and liked to win. It had been enough then, but somehow it wasn't enough anymore. Now everything was confused.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?